Here's what it takes to become a college professor, speaking as a college professor and a clinical psychologist. Sorry if there's some background noise. I'm having my basement finished, which is almost done, but it's been very noisy. So to become a professor, you're going to need some educational requirements and some experiential requirements. On the education side of things, typically to get a tenure track, so a more traditional professor job, you need to have a terminal degree in your field. So for many fields like psychology, my field, that is a PhD, but you can also get like an MFA, for example, if your field has an MFA as the terminal degree. On the experience side of things, the university is typically going to want to see some teaching experience and some research experience, but the extent to which they prioritize those two different things depends on the values of the university. So if you want to be a professor at a big R1 university that really prioritizes research, you need to have a lot of research experience. So you're going to want to have lots of publications, many of them first author publications in prestigious journals in your field. You're also going to want a lot of conference presentations, preferably more paper presentations than poster presentations, maybe chairing some symposia at a conference. Applying for grant funding, even if you didn't get the grant, is also really helpful, as are research-focused postdoc positions. If you want to apply to more of the small liberal arts college type settings to be a professor there, they're going to care more about your teaching experience because that's what they tend to value more in those settings. So they're going to want to see that you have independently taught several courses over the course of grad school and any postdoc positions that you had. They're also typically going to want to see evidence of reflective, responsive teaching. So what that means is that in your teaching statement that you'll have to submit, you need to talk about how you started your class this way, you learn more about the research, you learned how the students responded to your teaching, good and bad, and these are the changes that you made. So that you want to show that you are a thoughtful and responsive teacher. Small liberal arts colleges do still value research, and R1 universities do still value teaching, so you need to do both if you want to be competitive for professor positions in any kind of university. But how much your CV is weighted toward research versus teaching versus a balance of the two really depends on what kind of professor you want to be and what kind of university you want to work at.